Hi everybody, Adam Collingwood again here, and this is a chart of the DAX on a 1 minute time frame. Today is the 11th of May, which is a Thursday. Time now is 2:48 in the afternoon, so this is live. And today we've had some numbers come out from America, so that was the jobless claims numbers, which were negative, so the markets have fallen a little bit since 1:30. But what I want to do is just again show you the strategy, and we just go and have a look at 10:50 this morning, so 10 to 11, and the DAX crossed through super trend here. It was just hovering around the daily resistance level, which is at 15,917. The DAX did recover a little bit of the losses yesterday overnight and early this morning, and again I'll show you the daily ADX. So the strength is still very, very low. So although the DAX might be going up, there's not much strength, not much volume in that particular move, and that doesn't bode well for buyers. So this is, as I said, the 1 minute time frame, and the DAX crossed the 1 minute super trend, the black line here, which you can see, that was at 10:51. So what we're doing is we're always looking for a trade setup, and of course, you know, we look at lower lows. So I've just got an index, the alarm's just going off because there's something. There's an alarm set up on the chart so that when the 1 minute super trend is triggered, which you can see here, super trend 3, the alarm will be set and go off like it is now. So let's just close this off whilst I'm recording this. So going back to this setup, we know that when a market is making lower highs and lower lows, the trend is forming in a downward direction. But when we're looking at the price crossing through super trend, then this does actually start to shadow this price action. Although it just moved sideways for a little while there, sometimes it would drop immediately and sometimes it would just meander along for a little while. Okay, so if you sold at this point here, what we're looking for is, again, the awesome oscillator being below the zero line, which it is there, rock and roll to be red, and the directional movement index, that to actually go red here as well. Okay, and you can see with the histogram that's all turned red. So what that's doing is it's mirroring the downward price action. Okay, had a little bit of green here, but the price has stayed below the super trend level here. Okay, so we wouldn't have been stopped out because the stop was actually just up here from that move, so just up at 15,932, so taking a sell at 15,923 or 15,921, depending on how quickly you could get in. So this is only a small amount of risk that you're taking, and something that I emphasize often is small risk, big reward, small risk, big reward. Ideally we want to get rewards of at least 2 to 1, but mainly 3 to 1. Okay, so if we have, you know, a 1 loss or 2 losses, then the third trade that we make will actually encompass those losses, and so you should always have a very profitable equity curve. So the price continues to meander along, and then we're staying in the trade. The reason why we're staying in the trade is because this is below super trend. even though the oscillator is gone a little bit above the zero line and below it and above it, we're not too concerned about that at all. It's when it goes above it, but above super trend. Okay, that's where we need to close the trade if it hits our stop loss. But we stay in the trade, stays below, and then it crosses again super trend. So if you hadn't entered up here, you would have been entering here. And this is where it starts to drop below this line of resistance, this daily resistance, which is at 15,917. So that's quite a crucial resistance level there. Okay, so initially it was support where it would have been green, and now it's red because it's resistance. Okay, so another option, another chance to take a sell trade is just here. So as the price crosses below super trend at that point, 1202, you can see here it crosses below the zero line, the oscillator. It's all rock and roll red there, and importantly, it's below. It's red on the directional movement index. Okay, and it stays below that. What we also see is that the ADX indicator starts to cross 20, and that is showing real strength in the selling. So here it was reflecting what was happening with the price action. It wasn't really doing too much. It come back down below 20, and it's just staying on that line there, and it's here that we started to see that strength of selling. Okay. What's also noticeable is that on the on balance volume, you can see on the indicator here, this started to make lower lows, and it had also crossed below my 100 EMA, the exponential moving average. Okay, so that's nice to see when you're in a sell trade. You see it crossed over it slightly there at 115, right? So we stay in that trade from up here, and then if you sold again there, okay, we stay in that trade until we start to see a change in direction. And what happened was it crossed above super trend here. It didn't cross super trend 3. So if you had decided to stay in till it crossed there before you got out of the trade, you could have closed the trade there. But if you want to just bank your gains, then you would do so just as it crossed here. Okay, and this is where this just started to turn upward. And we don't know, you see, whether we have to close the trade, bank the profit, because we don't know whether that could have carried on going up. We can't really foresee what's going to happen next. That's why we have to stick to these rules. We have to always adhere to the same rules, stick to the discipline, and then we can always re-enter the trade if we want to continue selling again. So what happens next? The price stays below the 100 EMA, which is important, so that is also shadowing the move down. Okay, so it starts to, you see where on this candle here, it just touches the 200 EMA on the 1 minute, and then this is where it starts to cross down again. So what we're looking for again is crosses back down below the zero line on the awesome oscillator. This has started to turn red. So we're looking for the price to cross below super trend, which it does there, and then it crosses below super trend 3 at this point as well. So we can sell at that point, take the trade there, stay in the trade. So from selling here at 15,870, you stay with it all the way down, and you can see what happened next. The price fell from up here 15,872 all the way to 15,783. So that was a nice 100 pip move there, and of course it started to cross super trend here, so we would have closed the trade at that point. I can see that it's actually dropped down again, but we close the trade in case this starts to move back up again. So we would bank the money from selling there at 15,872 and then closing the trade here at 15,804. Now if you wanted to take 100 pips, that's absolutely fine. It could do, who knows, it could have continued to keep dropping there, but you close the trade, that's turned green on the directional movement index, and the oscillator has crossed the zero line. So we're not greedy, you know, we're just going to bank a nice from there 15,872 there. So you know, you're talking a nice 70 pip profit there, or who knows, you could, if you've got 100 pips there, you might say thanks very much, I'll take that now. If it drops any further, fine, but you've got your 100 pips in the bag. All right. So this again is just following the same strategy, the same discipline. So this is very much rules driven. Okay, so it's how we keep a trade open as long as possible to allow the wriggle room, so the price to breathe in between from it's making little highs, little lows in between as it's trending and moving down there. But we never know when that direction is going to change. Okay, so it could suddenly, like it did last night, it started to bounce back up again and recover some of the earlier gains, the earlier losses in the day. And so again, we'll look for another opportunity. Now we don't have to keep going in and buying and selling all day long. We're waiting for the right setup, and the right setup is where we can see that the price is very much has crossed below super trend. It's starting to make those lower highs and lower lows, and the directional movement index is all going red there. So if we expand on this, maximize the panel there, you can see that was that move after when the 130 the jobless claims numbers came out of America. That was the effect of it. Price started to drop, and that was illustrated with the histogram here with all these red bars. Okay, so it's just dropping further down, and we stay in the trade from here all the way to here. Okay, now there potentially could be some more selling today on the DAX. You can see here it's crossed back below super trend again, so you know it depends on the strength at the moment. I mean the ADX is now on the 1 minute is now below 20. Okay, so if we start to see this crossing back up through the 20 and the price is dropping, that's a clear indicator that there's lots of volume there and there's some real selling. Okay, so you have to know when there's real selling or not. The DAX on the 1 minute is still stayed below the 100 EMA, and this potentially could continue to make lower lows on the on balance volume indicator. Okay, so we have all the indicators here. We're not looking at MACD or stochastic at the moment. Of course, we're always looking at resistance, support lines, trend lines, and what's happening there, whether there's going to be any blocks against the moves being made. But this is just a beautiful strategy if you love trading and you want to be consistent and continue to make money on a daily basis. This really is how to do it. Okay, this is years and years and years and years and years of trying absolutely everything, so many different strategies, and we want to get the ones that just work perfectly. Okay, so if you want to know about these indicators, and I'll put some links below the video. If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't joined the YouTube channel, then please subscribe and click on the bell so that you're alerted to future videos. There's going to be so many videos, so there's daily ones with live trades and lots of lots of hacks and how-tos. So there's just going to be a plethora of information for you. And but I say look out for the links as well below the video, because there'll be explanations on the different indicators as well, so just click on those links. So this trading's done with IG, on my IG platform, and the charts are the ProRealTime charts, which are available through IG. Normally they're about £30. It's £30 per month, but when you're trading through IG, if you're making more than 4 trades a month, then that's completely rebated to you, so there's no actual charge for the charts, as I said, as long as you make 4 trades per month. We can see, look at the DAX at the moment now dropping to 15,769. So it's not looking too good. I'll just quickly show you before I close off. I just wanted to show you again this daily ADX. So if we maximize this, so this is the ADX where back in October we saw this rise from 20 all the way to 42, and we'll have a look at the price action in a bit. And then in January you had another move which reflects the bullish period on DAX and Wall Street and the FTSE 100, and then since April the ADX has crossed down below 20. Okay, so you can see it's crossed below 20 now. What we're going to see is if the black line here crosses the ADXR, okay, if this crosses here and starts to move back up to 20 through 20, etc., this could actually be an indication of lots of downward pressure, lots of selling. Okay, so you have to remember the ADX, doesn't reflect price action whether it's going up or down. This is about the strength of a particular move. Okay, so we had a lot of strength back in October, and we had a lot again in January, and then since April it really has been dropping, and you can see it's making a lower high there, and there's a lower high there. Okay, so just quickly show you that back in October and then January. So on the 18th of October, this so if you look at the bottom of the screen, yellow there, Tuesday the 18th of October. So this is where the price crossed up through super trend on the daily chart here, and you can see the oscillators above the 0 line. Rock and roll starts to turn green here. But look at the directional movement index. See how that all turns green? So these all are really good, especially if you are swing trading, if you're holding positions over a longer period of time. This is a great time to actually be buying the DAX and holding that position, okay, over a longer period of time. So not day trading this. This is about actually more of a position trade here and keeping that open for as long as possible. And there was a nice move there. But look at this ADX. So this is crossed through 20, and so that was a real move there. So there's the ADX indicator, which is a standalone there, and I also have it on the directional movement index. You can see how that that's real strength there on that move. Okay, then it dropped back down again, and then in January crossed back above 20, and can you see the price action? This just really started to take off again. Got to from January, the price moved through 14,835 to 15,690. Okay, and then what it's done since then is it's just been moving sideways for quite some time since April. Price really hasn't had much strength at all. So though it's been still slightly going up, there's been not much strength there at all. Alright, so it's been above on the 0 line on the oscillator still, rock and roll green now starting to turn neutral, but on the on-balance volume indicator, that's now stopped crossed below the 100 EMA, and importantly, the directional movement index is started to go red. So this is a real indication that the market is just starting to fall a little bit. Again, we could still see a bit of a rally again, but at the moment there's not that much strength at all, and that's why this number, ADX number, is at 10.97 there. Okay, so so something certainly to watch out for. So even if you are day trading, it's so important to look at the daily chart as well, so that gives you a helicopter view of what's going on. Anyway, I will leave it at that, and I will speak to you again soon.